Welcome to the Thought for the Day for Thursday the 3rd of September. I'm Suzanne Hoslet. Yesterday, Helen shared with us the first 12 verses of Psalm 139. Helen told us that we have a God who loves us, cares for us and accompanies us in whatever we are experiencing, and that even in the darkest places the light of the Lord shines and the darkness is as light to him. Today we're going to think about the second half of Psalm 139, verses 13 to 24. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. If only you, God, would slay the wicked. Away from you, me, you who are bloodthirsty. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord, and abhor those who are in rebellion against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Many of you will know that Graham and I have just returned from a week away. It was good to finally leave the county of Surrey. It was only the second time that I'd been more than 10 miles from Guildford since the beginning of March. We spent a week, along with the dog, in West Yorkshire, Bronte country. The weather was kind to us and we were able to get out onto the local hills and moors on foot on all but one day. A time to relax as we explored the Wuthering Heights of the hills surrounding Haworth, and not just the hills, but the valleys, the woodland, the rivers, and even the delights of a local cream tea. But the highlights for me of every walking holiday are always when I'm on top of the hills. The views from the top as you look out across the valleys to the hills beyond, looking at the shapes, the colours, smelling the freshness of the heather, listening to nothing but the birds and the streams. And as I stand on the top of each hill, I always find myself saying, wow. Wow to the beauty of the creation. Wow to the amazing diversity of nature. Wow to the intricacies of the tiniest flowers. Wow to the enormity of the sky with the clouds, the stars, the planets. And as I look, I marvel at the attention to detail in all of it. The attention from a Lord who has created each and every part of the earth on which we live. But then I remember that this work is the work of the Lord, of whom David says in verse 13 of Psalm 139, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. The mighty and powerful hand that was able to create the tiniest of details in those flowers on the moorland, and the hand that created the stunning mountains and hills that make us say wow, is the same hand that has fearfully and wonderfully made me and you. Fearfully and wonderfully made each of us. So that made me think. If our response to those amazing works of creation that we see from the hilltops is wow, then as we look at ourselves in the mirror, then surely our response should equally and as loudly, if not louder, be wow. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. When we are tempted to think of ourselves as not good enough, not beautiful enough, not clever enough, not having anything to offer, then we must remember that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Created for and with a purpose by a God who loves and cares for us, a Lord and Father who walks with us whatever we are facing. And this also applies to our loved ones, our friends, and even those people we may find a little more challenging. As we look at them, we can and we should also say, wow, and we can tell them that they are wonderful, because the works of the Lord are wonderful. And the psalm continues to tell us that this Lord, who has made us so wonderfully, also thinks of us constantly. Verses 17 and 18. How precious to me are your thoughts, God! How vast is the sum of them! Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. The footnote in the NIV says, how amazing are your thoughts concerning me. When I read that today, I was taken aback. I had never considered that the Lord spends time thinking about me, and certainly not to the extent that I could say that the sum of those thoughts would outnumber the grains of sand. My Lord, the one who created me and you so wonderfully, knows that he has plans, what he has planned for each of us. He thinks about us, and those thoughts about each of us are amazing and precious, full of love, care and compassion, because we are amazing and precious to him. Despite all of our mistakes and failings, the Lord still looks at us, thinks of us, and says of each of us, wow. My prayer for each of us is that in whatever we face today, we will each know that amazing love that cares for us as we walk with our Creator and Lord. Amen.